Hello, dear Libra. I'm Jamie Dawn, your evolutionary revolutionary astrologer, bringing you your June 2021 horoscope. And yes, we have Mercury retrograde, which is going to be pretty much the entire month of June. So we can use that to color everything that we are thinking, the decisions we're making, the conversations we're having, people from the past returning, situations from the past being revisited. So we're going to talk about that. We're also going to talk about your ruling planet Venus and how she is also going to make her move into Cancer, which will make a natural square to your sun, moon, or rising sign. And then we also have Mars still in Cancer until the 11th of June. We have a new moon eclipse in Gemini, making a nice trine to your sun, moon, or rising sign. That happens on the 10th. And we also have Pluto. I'm sorry, well, Pluto is retrograde, but Jupiter is in its natural traditional sign of Pisces, and it will retrograde at the end of the month as well. So we have a lot of activity, but let's just revisit, since we are in a Mercury retrograde. Mercury went station and retrograde on the 29th of May, and that happened just a couple of days after a powerful full moon eclipse in Sagittarius. And I would imagine that that had you feeling a little hungover from all the intensity of releasing, letting go of some beliefs, letting go of what maybe you thought you were wanting. Maybe you decided you didn't want it anymore. It also, remember that when we're letting go of something, space gets created, and you may have found a new opportunity stepping in, some truth coming out that could have been for your benefit, but also you may have had to rework a few things and revisit conversations that you thought a decision was made, and yet it wasn't totally clear, because even though the energy of the eclipse is pretty big, we do have Mercury. It was in shadow and then station retrograde on the 29th. And so here we start on the very 1st of June with Mercury still in retrograde motion until the 21st, 22nd, depending on where we are in the world. This is in your 9th house. So you may still be re-examining, what do you believe about the world? What do you believe about yourself? This is the 9th house, is about your belief system, your philosophy. It's considered the house of God, air quote, meaning this higher belief or this higher power, and how you create this tantric relationship with it, because our beliefs tend to drive our behaviors. If we believe that the world is against us, then we act very self-protective, we're suspicious, maybe paranoid, or we go into a state of negativity where we think everybody's out to get us, nothing works out in our favor. So what I would offer is that hopefully this month of June will help you revisit some of those quote unquote negative beliefs and allow you to reinvent them so that they support you, so that your beliefs can then drive you to take actions that are of benefit for yourself and for those around you. I think also the other thing with this Mercury retrograde, because it is making a natural sextile to your excuse me, a trine, not sextile, a trine to your sun, moon, or rising sign. Hey, I'm recording this video during the Mercury retrograde shadow, so if I repeat myself, you know, here's my rule of thumb with Mercury retrograde. Let's keep our sense of humor. I'm human too, and thoughts, words, all of that seem to be a little funny right now. I think that's the general rule. If you have watched my weekly videos, I talk a lot about this Mercury retrograde in the upcoming or in the week of May 31st through June 6th video. That to be all said here, that you, Libra, would maybe reassessing what is true. What does the truth really mean? In this 9th house, it's connected to your morals, it's connected to ethics. And so you may be looking at certain truths that are showing up that doesn't line up with your morals and ethics. And you have to sit down and go, okay, is it really true for me? Or is this something I need to shift and change? Because one of the things, Libra, that you're going to want to continue to work with is finding great meaning in what you're doing. So whether it's meaning in your relationships, does this relationship hold meaning for me? Or the way in which I interact with this person or this group, does it hold meaning? And if I am able to uh, feel as though I'm making a positive impact on the world, or a positive impact on this situation, positive impact on my loved ones, then I can keep going. Now I'm emotionally invested in it. And I think that's something that you're going to be sitting with and exploring and saying, is the work I'm doing, is the relationships that I have, do they allow me to find great meaning in them? And if not, I may need to have certain conversations that may be uncomfortable, but it allows me to look at my life from that bigger picture and to be able to say, this is where I ultimately want to go. These are the steps I need to take to make it happen. You may find yourself needing to revisit a particular place because Sagittarius energy, ninth house energy, Gemini energy that we're in is about travel. And it can be travel of the mind. It doesn't have to physically be traveling to a location. However, I would venture to say many of you Libras are probably going to be traveling during the month of June. That to be said, remember with Mercury retrograde, it does affect travel. It creates delays, it creates confusion. It can also create an opportunity for you to jump into a space that gets created because there's confusion on another side and it works out in your favor. So don't think that Mercury retrograde is all bad, because it's not. What I will also say is that in this ninth house, you will most likely need to find some form of commitment in where you're going. And so you'll need to double check, triple check, all those details if you are traveling. Be prepared that where this Mercury can create a little confusion is you may think you're going one place. If you're traveling with others, they may decide they want to go somewhere else, or they don't like the delays and they can whine, creating a little drama for you. The other thing I would say is that this ninth house hope activation can hopefully shore up some of your faith that, again, the universe has your back. So use things like retraining, re-examining, and revisiting those belief systems during the month of June. The other thing is, now we have Venus, our cosmic lover, in what we attract, how we express love, how we find pleasure, beauty, and harmony, all those things that you're very familiar with, moving into the sign of Cancer, creating a natural square between your sun, moon, or rising sign. This is in the 10th house. What this can offer to you is that through some hard work, through some challenging conversations, through you really working hard to stand out and shine and say, I've done all my work. This is why I deserve to sit at this table. This is the fruit that I'm choosing to bear, so that you can see all my experiences, all the things that I have meaning. I've revisited my belief system, and this is why I believe I deserve to stand in the spotlight. I deserve to be the authority. And here's Venus attracting to you opportunities for you to be very protective of your reputation. And that could be that situations come up where, let's say, a new job starts and you need to make sure that you don't go into self-doubt, or you don't go into worries and fears that suddenly you've got this new role and you're not quite sure. You thought when you started you knew what you were doing, but others start to question you. Others start to wonder, can you really do what you were hired to do? And so with Venus and Cancer here, it can make you super sensitive. You could possibly take it personally if others don't see you the way that you see yourself. And I would also say that this can bring in relationship dynamics where you're pulled between what you ultimately want as far as your career or your social status and what your partner views you as. So there could be some cross currents that happen with Venus here in Cancer that allow you to have conversation, but also allow you to empathize and ask for empathy, and also bring in a situation where you can create some healthy boundaries and emotional security, because that's what you ultimately want. You want to be emotionally invested in what kind of career you're actually taking on. The other thing is, of course, we have a Gemini new moon that's on the 10th. That's also in your 9th house. So that can give you, as you're revisiting your faith, your hope, your belief systems, that can give you an inkling of resetting your philosophy about how you deal with life. What gives you great meaning? And you can start this next 6-month cycle of the Gemini cycle, where you may decide that, hey, I have revisited my belief systems. I'm writing it down. I'm ready to put it out into the world, but just hold off until Mercury goes direct at the end of the month. And I would even say in July, if you can, hold off on presenting this new philosophy or belief system until then. In the meantime, do some research around it. Use the Gemini new moon to, yes, plant some seeds, but really get your philosophy or mindset in a place that is so secure for you, because you're doing your own dance. So if you really believe in love, if you really believe in doing a good job, if you believe in these high standards, if you will, that you hold for yourself, then don't let somebody knock you off that pedestal. I think this new moon eclipse is going to give you that reassurance that you do matter, and that the way in which you give meaning to things is okay, because that's your expression. I would also say that this Gemini new moon will find many of you Libras, if you're looking to expand your family in some way, whether it's through getting pregnant or a new pet or something of that nature. I'm going to say that you'll probably start talking about it with your spouse, with your loved one. It may be that you're looking at, hey, I'm ready to move. I'm ready to take on a role that allows me to connect on a wider scale. And so you start talking about it at this new moon. It may take some time, though, before you actually manifest it. Now we have Mars moving into Leo the day after this new moon. So it's riding that energy, and it's moving into your 11th house of your social house, your fulfillment of wishes. This is where, the 10th house is the fruit on the tree, if you will, that people can see that you're bearing. And then that 11th house, using the same metaphor as the tree, it's like they've taken the fruit and now they've taken a bite and they're like, oh, this is so good. And what you'll find with Mars here is that it could energize you to stand out with your friends or stand out in a particular group, because you're driven to show how loyal you are. You're driven to show how you can shine in with all of your gifts, and how you can actually be a leader amongst your friends or amongst your coworkers and your social setting. The other thing I would say is that Mars, we know, has a shadow side. It can get aggressive if you're not getting the attention, if you're not feeling like you're standing out in front of your friends. And it can create some conflict and competition if you're not careful. And it may find, because Mars is a separator, that you may find yourself separating from those friends who try to create competition with you, and you just want to have some fun. You want to be a little lighter. This is a wonderful sextile here of Mars to your sun, moon, or rising. So it's like you're like, what is everybody getting so upset about? Let's just have a good time. So you may find that you become the leader in your group and you shine, and that others will be driven to show how loyal they are to you. This also can give you an opportunity, depending on what area of your life, and this is where the personal readings come from, whatever your life is most active, that you could find other resources that allow you to be with your friends, and to where they're depending on you and they're noticing you, that you can give them, some extra boost, that you can, with your words, with your actions, that you can show them how good you really are and how you can support them. The other thing we have, of course, I mentioned Jupiter is retrograde in Pisces. That's in your 6th house. That happens June 20th. And as we know, when planets retrograde, they feel closer to us. We feel more internal. And this happens just a few days before a Capricorn full moon in your 4th house. And so I'm lumping these together for you because there's a sextile happening between Jupiter and the moon during that time. And in your 6th and 4th house, this is where you may find that your daily routines, your tasks and activities get really internal or private within your home. So you may find that you take on maybe you've already done it, but you take on a health routine that you work from home, and you've been working out at home, that now with this full moon in Capricorn, you may decide it's time to join the gym again because, you know, things are opened up and that sort of thing. It also can be that certain projects and certain things, renovations, things like that, that you're doing in your home need to have a very keen eye, and they need to be completed. So you may find yourself finding a certain checklist, if you were to go, okay, here's our final walkthrough, here's the things that we need to get checked off so that we can complete this project and move forward. Again, Mercury retrograde could create some delays, so you may be revisiting some of the things you agreed upon, and especially when it comes to contracts and agreements, and when it comes to your house or your health, and you may need to go back through that and redo it and kind of push a little bit. The end of the month is a good time for starting to push. Just keep in mind, as Mercury wakes up around that Jupiter retrograde and full moon time, it's like waking up from a nap. You know, sometimes it takes a few minutes before we really get moving again. Think of Mercury going direct like that as well. Then we have Venus moving into Leo on June 27th in your 11th house, making you, again, more of that cosmic lover that Venus in Leo wants to shine and stand out, likes a little drama. There could be some drama in your friendships. There could be some drama in your social circles, you know, that sort of thing. But most likely, this will have you really standing out with your friends and your social circle. And it also can give you an opportunity to lead when it comes to your career. So it's the reason I say that is you've got that 10th house activation at the beginning of the month with Venus in Cancer, and then when she moves into Leo, she may then activate this, okay, we're so happy that Libra, you're here, now we want to give you another role, or we want to celebrate you, we want to promote you, we want to make sure that you get the rewards of that hard work you put in at the beginning of the month. And also, if you're dealing with confusion or there's been misunderstandings and things just haven't gone exactly the way you had hoped, by the end of the month, you can come back and go, okay, it wasn't as bad as we thought. Or as my mom likes to say, messes are made to be cleaned up. So you clean up some messes and everybody gets back on the same page and they celebrate you. Now, of course, I want to make sure, Libra, that you have a little bit of a relationship piece, because I know that's important for all of us human beings. And I will say, if you're a single Libra, that this month gives you a chance to quietly connect with someone. If you're looking to start a new relationship, do it very slowly. Remember, not everything is as it appears to be with a Mercury retrograde. It's not usually the best time to start something new, but if you do have the opportunity, it's really important that you take your time and that you ask good questions and that you don't jump in with both feet. Most of your focus this month is going to be on your career, on your faith, on your belief system. And that can help give you something to share with a new person. But as far as the romantic piece, I would say take your time. Bonded Libras, this is going to be a month where you and your partner can revisit certain conversations about your future, about where you ultimately believe you're going to go next. And especially because, as you know, we know the restrictions with COVID are starting to lift, borders will start to open towards the end of the month. You guys can start planning. I wouldn't necessarily sign contracts or start something new. However, you can do some research and plan about where do you want to travel together, or where do you want to spend this money together? Or where can you find more money and resources that you can create greater love, greater bonding, that sort of thing? If you're in a tumultuous relationship, this is the month where you're going to be revisiting it, and you're going to have conversations that allow you to wrestle a bit with, are we in alignment? And if not, I would venture to say that you may make a decision this month, but just keep in mind, if you do, it may not be final. So just letting you know, I know that often we react, especially when emotions are really high. Not always a great time to make major decisions. If you can, Libra, hold off on that decision. Of course, I don't promote abusive relationships, but if it's one of those where it's just causing you some stress, maybe taking a step back and creating some distance would be a really good thing for this month for you and that person. All right, Libra, I certainly hope that this video helps. Please like, subscribe, share, comment. Let me know how it's going. Find me at jamiedawn.com, and I look forward to hearing how June will be for all of us. All right, take care, Libra.